Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. So, namaskar, friends, and a very good afternoon to all learners for this course on human engineering. Today is the first live session for this course, and since this course is newly floated, so today would be the first session for this course. So I expect a lot of you to be here. First live session for this course. And ask questions or provide feedback on how the course is acting for them. So I'd be waiting for questions from all those students who are watching me live. There are three ways in which you can ask a question to me regarding this course. One is the YouTube chat box on which the course is presently live. And a second way of asking questions is through this team platform where you can come live or post a question on the chat. A third you and I'd be answering your questions there. If none of these work for you, probably you would be more interested in where I frequently answer questions which are posted by you. And the last resort, if your question is not being answered, is to write a mail directly to me. My email address is mentioned on the course page, and I'll reply to your question depending on the time which is available to me. So as I said, this is a new course and this is a first live session for this new course. So I urge all of you who are present here to ask your questions or provide constructive feedback regarding this course. All suggestions relating to the course which can help in improving the course are welcome. Most of these sessions that are held are meant to have a one-to-one interaction with the course instructor and the students. Since this is a online forum, students often do not get a chance to interact with their course instructor. And so these kind of sessions are regularly held by NPTEL so that the students can interact with their course instructor. So here is a chance, dear students, to ask questions which are coming to your mind or which you think are something which you do not understand or want more elaboration on this platform. So again, as I said, I'd urge people who are here, who's connected to me either through the team forum or the YouTube live chat forum, start asking your questions. In the meanwhile, I'll try to very briefly explain what the course is all about. Engineering psychology has very less to do with engineering and more to do with how to engineer the principles of psychology so that it can help in designing systems which fit humans. So I have a question, and let's take this question. So this is from Anurag, and Anurag says, what is the application in real life? So Anurag, engineering psychologists are hired by a number of industries so that they can properly guide these industries in designing machines and interfaces which are compatible with humans. The application of engineering psychology is in a lot of fields and is varied, starting from designing nuclear reactors to designing cars to designing websites. Engineering psychologists are hired by most of these companies. For understanding what engineering psychologists do, let me explain it in an easy way. When you see a website and it has a lot of material on it, the chances are that you will forget most of it. Or think about those interfaces which ask you for login password and a number of other things for registering yourself to that website. A psychologist knows that human memory is limited and it deteriorates quickly with time. He can suggest this fact and many other facts from research on memory to people who are designing websites so that these facts, which are the limitations of human memory, can be included into designing the websites. Websites which take care of human limitations are designed so that the data people enter are learned by these websites, and at a later time they are provided to people as a hint. This lessens the memory load of the user, and the user has a much positive experience with using the website, and he is more prone to visiting it again. I have other questions as well on my YouTube forum, so let me take these questions as well. So Muhammad Munib says, I'm pursuing MSc in mathematics. In our syllabus, we have to take a 2-credit course from NPTEL in each semester. I and my colleagues have taken this course of engineering psychology. That's very good. We have never dealt with psychology. How can we prepare for exams and deal with this course? Please guide. Now, first of all, thank you, Muhammad Munib, for putting this question. If you have never dealt with psychology, it would become a little bit difficult, but don't worry, it's not difficult at all. All you have to do is to patiently listen to the lectures. While listening to the lectures, don't complete a lecture in one go, rather take breaks and comprehend what is being said in the lecture. That way, you will be able to understand what is being said. Also try attempting the assignments. By attempting the assignments, you will gain experience with the type of questions that may come in the examination, and it will also be a test of what you have learned during the lectures. This way, by listening to the lectures and by completing the assignments, you will get good marks in your exam. If you're still not satisfied and want to get very good marks, try buying one of the books which has been prescribed for this course and reading it. That would be the best way to get the maximum marks and maximum understanding. But assuming that if you have few interest in pursuing this course further, I would suggest listening to the lectures in a logical way with frequent breaks, and completing the assignment would be more than enough for getting good marks in this exam. Another question from SciTech is that he asked the question, if we require to refer any other source apart from the lectures and notes, if you want to pass with a mediocre mark or more than mediocre mark, I would say within the 70 to 80% range, the lectures and assignments are more than enough. But of course, like everything else in this world, if you want to score more or if you want to score the best, you would have to refer to some of the reference books which have been provided. But given that you have other commitments and you don't think of pursuing this course ahead, listening to the lectures, understanding them, and completing the assignments should be giving you good enough marks for this course. I hope that answers your question, SciTech. There is another question from Anurag, and let's take this. So Anurag says, I'm doing a BA Honors Psychology from Delhi University and Data Science from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. Due to less student enrollment in this course, it's quite complicated to connect with you, sir. I'm asking about WhatsApp or Telegram groups for this group or for great updates. So from what I understand, Anurag, is there is a forum for this course, and if you can join this forum, you'll be able to connect, ask questions on the forum. There is always someone or the other who would reply to your question. If you still want to do better or still have doubts which you think is not answered by the teaching assistants in this course, in the forum, write an email. But before writing an email, I would suggest try a little bit. It's not very difficult, but there are principles that you need to learn for understanding the course. So WhatsApp group or Telegram group, I really don't know if it exists or not, because I'm not part of any of these groups. But the easiest way to connect is through forum or writing an email. As for the complication, if you pay a little more attention, whatever is being taught in this course, most of it would fall into your BA psychology on a syllabus. all you need to do is restructure and think. Mostly the courses that are made on NPTEL is made in such a way that it explains things in the easiest possible way for students to understand. I do believe that there would be certain principles which would be out of bound, and for that I'm here to answer and provide you more explanations. But most of the explanations or most of the theories which have been used will fall within your BA Psychology honors syllabus. For the updates, you might refer to the website, and they keep on updating, and uh, I think that's the best way to learn the updates for this course. Then there is Krishna Kishore, and Krishna Kishore, welcome. The question says is there is a prerequisite to complete human behavior course prior to taking up engineering psychology? No, there is no prerequisite for engineering psychology in terms of the human behavior course. You can perfectly well take up human behavior and engineering psychology without one being the prerequisite of the other. Both are separate courses, although both will connect with each other because they use similar principles. Whereas human behavior course dwells into a lot of topics which are covered in the book on Introduction to Psychology. Engineering psychology would focus specifically onto those portions of the Introduction to Psychology course which refer to the syllabus or which refer to the application of psychology in designing systems. Particularly, I'm referring to those chapters or sections which are to deal with cognition. You will have portions from attention and memory. You will have portions from a little bit of physiology, psychophysiology to be precise. And you will also have portions from a little bit of social understanding. So all these combined together will form the course material for engineering psychology. So to answer your question in a more brief way, one course, which is human behavior, is not the prerequisite for engineering psychology. Although having done human behavior would greatly benefit you in learning. If you have any other questions or if you have any other doubts and suggestions, I would urge you to put those questions and suggestions to me either on this team forum or the YouTube chat forum. So as I was explaining, that engineering psychology is using principles of engineering, principles of psychology, engineered in such a way that it can design machines which can help human beings. Designing machines which are a perfect match to humans and which work as slaves to humans rather than the machines slaving the humans is the basic aim of this course. Human beings have a lot of capabilities and limitations. They can do certain things much better than machines, but they can do certain things which are far, far poorer than machines. For example, a routine task. Most humans have limited attentional capacity, and so doing routine jobs becomes sometimes erroneous. But when it comes to doing intelligent work, For example, decision making or thinking. These things human beings can do much better than machines. The purpose of engineering psychology is to understand what is the pros and cons, the limitations and capabilities of humans, and what are the pros and cons of a machine, and then design a bridge so that with the limitations and capabilities of humans, a match between humans and machines can be done. And what this match will do will produce efficient performances and better productivity. So this is what the job of a engineering psychologist is. Engineering psychologists are hired in a lot of companies and in a lot of firms. They work in academics too, and they are hired in a lot of places. While designing any systems which at any point of time has to interact with a human, it is always advisable to get inputs from a psychologist, and to be specific, an engineering psychologist, because these psychologists are specialized in adapting the theories of psychology and making them fit into problems which are machine related, so that a good interaction can happen between humans and machines. Now, a number of sections are covered within this course. I start by first explaining what is the basic of this course, and then further I talk about limitations and capabilities of humans in the basic way, for example, audition and visual, and then advanced processes like attention and memory. And then later on in the course, I also show to the learners how an application of these principles can be done in terms of the work environment and in terms of reducing errors. There is one more question from Anurag, and Anurag says is, how is modern AI related to engineering psychology and what are its real life applications? So modern AIs or model neural network programs, these have the capability of doing a lot of calculations and predictions. They are very good data digging machines and can create answers and solutions which at the surface of it would look like an intelligent answer, but they always suffer from the fact that the intelligence is limited. If you have heard about the Chinese room problem, it's a philosophical dilemma, and I suggest that you read about it. It talks about the fact that if some machine making a lot of effort can solve or give you solutions to certain problems, will it be intelligent? And the answer to this is no. Intelligence is not providing solutions, but intelligence is reimagining solutions. Thinking of things which has never happened before, or solutions which have been never proposed before. AIs are bound by this fact that they can only come up with solutions, or they can only limit their thinking to whatever we have been fed to them. And so the use of engineering psychology in modern day is to see how human thinking and decision making can be integrated to the outputs of these AI systems. These AI systems could be made to think in routine ways or give routine answers. And then further on, humans can then evaluate these answers and come up with better modes or better explanations to problems. This, I think, is the relation between modern AI and engineering psychology. And to the question that whether AI will affect jobs, it's not a simple answer. AI is going to eat up some jobs. Yes, routine jobs, for example. But those problems which require thinking and advanced level thinking, AIs cannot do that. Think about how Einstein changed the whole idea of gravitation in terms of space-time. Given that both Newton and Einstein would have been at this age, and an AI system would have been there to help find solutions, no matter how much hard the AI system, with its all the knowledge of Newtonian dynamics and gravity, would try, it could never come up with the idea of curve times space, because this is something which is a theoretical prediction which Einstein mind could come up with. So radical solutions or solutions which are out of the box cannot be generated by these AI systems. Limited solutions, or I'd say transformation of one solution state to another solution state, is what an AI can best do. And let's leave the AI to that. With AI doing our basic jobs or routine jobs, we'll have enough time to think about the bigger things in life and come up with real solutions of how and what should be done to real problems. For the field of psychology, AI definitely would be helpful in, as I said, some routine jobs. So for any field, AI would be good in Ambedkar level thinking and routine problems. But when it comes to hard thinking or coming up with new theories, AI would lack there. That is one thing which the humans can outperform AI on. And there's a lot of debate that you can read about these. Probably you may think about reading about Noam Chomsky, or there are other people from the AI domain who have been talking about how AI is not the best solution. Right. So I hope that solution or that answer is meaningful to you. Moving on. If you have other questions, you may put these questions to me while I take up more questions. And there is a question on the forum which I'd like to take. And this question is by Leela Sai, who puts the question, what is the role of an environment psychologist in our society? And probably she would have meant environment, not environment psychologist, but an engineering psychologist. And I think I have answered this question. So basically, engineering psychology, uh, a person who's an engineering psychologist can help design better interfaces, better machines, which can help in benefiting the society in a number of ways. There is a second question, which is the application of engineering psychology in real-time world. That also I've explained to you how engineering psychology uses principles of psychology into designing systems and machine system interactions, and help in redesigning not only spaces but environments and a number of other things which can help people at large. Now, let's take an example. For example, let's say that if people are working in an office, what should be the design in an office? Should an office have closed cubicles or should it have cabins? And the answer to that lies in the nature of the work and the nature of interaction. If the work requires people to have quicker interactions with each other, for example, call centers where multiple uh, information is needed from multiple sources to provide to the client on the phone, a cubicle is the best solution. But if secrecy is important or if complex thinking is important, you would need a peaceful environment, and then cubicle is not the best place. Closed chamber would have been much better. Although cubicles promote uh, much better social communication in comparison to the closed chambers. This is just one application, so there are a number of applications that can uh, be thought about this engineering psychology, or rather it would be better to say using engineering the principles of psychology to design a better system which can help humans, or design better tools which can help humans. Another question which I have is from Dodo Water, and he says, hello sir, what are some future career options in the field of engineering psychology? Future career options is being human factor engineering psychologist or a human factor specialist, or you can work in companies like Samsung and Google, where you would interact with both machines and people, understand the requirements of people, understand the uh, limitations and capabilities of machines, and design the bridge which make people and machines interact. At the beginning of this interaction, I explained to you how uh, the memory capability of humans can be used in designing websites which self-remember. So those are the applications. Anurag has another question, and what is that? That says that, thank you, sir. How much an engineering psychologist make? That depends upon which company is hiring you, but I promise you that they make a lot of money. Next, average overall, and what are the roadmaps to be engineering psychologists after RCI guidelines? The roadmap would be to complete a bachelor's degree first, and then enroll at a university which has a PhD program or a master's PhD program in human factor engineering or engineering psychology, finish that and then apply to companies. There's a lot of application, a lot of want for people from engineering psychology, and I can promise you that um, these people, engineering psychologists, I cannot give you a round-off figure because I'm not an engineering psychologist. It's just a course that I'm teaching, but I can tell you that they earn a lot of money. The work is interesting. The work is also very appealing and absorbing, and people make a lot of money in this. So I hope that answers your question. So other people, if you are listening to me and if you have questions related to this course on engineering psychology, I would suggest you can put up your questions and I'll try to answer those questions based on whatever limited knowledge I have about both this engineering psychology and psychology field as in total. So yes, definitely, definitely. It 7 lakh per annum is very less money that we're talking about. So definitely more than that. I think more than twice the amount. Uh, Starters would be a little bit less, but definitely more than what you are quoting. So that's for Anurag. For other people, if you are here, please start asking your questions. And as I'll go back to what I was explaining in engineering psychology. So what I explain is Krishna Kishore, if you cannot enter your question on um, this Google Sheet, why don't you write the question here on this forum or put it on the YouTube? I'm online and I'll read your question. Or if you can come online and put up your question, I'll be happy to answer it. And for Anurag, I cannot promise that this is the money that you're going to get, but definitely it will be around this. So as I said, I'm not an engineering psychologist, and I just work as a professor with in IITG. So I don't know exactly what they make, but they make a lot of money. That I can promise. And for Krishna Kishore, why don't you put the questions here? I'll talk to people from NPTEL and find out why it's giving a view only notice, right? So put up your questions here or on the forum, the YouTube forum, and I'll answer your question. So again, going back to what we do in engineering psychology. So we use principles of learning, memory, thinking, problem solving, decision making, and all these theories, and fit it to varied kind of problems that exist around us. And the reason why we do it is that by using these principles or by understanding the individual who's interacting with the system, a better system can be created. A system which can tolerate a lot of redundancies and errors and can help you in much better way. A number of examples I can give you where the principles of psychology can be used to make things better and in a way that would be helpful for people. One example that I can think of is the ATM machine. Now, in an ATM machine, where you put in the card, there is a direction which is shown. And sometimes, well, elderly people uh, come into these ATM machines. It becomes really difficult for them to know which side the card should go in. So instead of writing directions or making figurative designs of which side you should put the card in and where it should face, a much better answer would be to put the card whichever way you want and let the machine then scan the card, both sides, and find out where the chip information is. If this can be done, there would be no correct and incorrect way of putting a card. Or it could be a touch only kind of a thing where you can just touch the card from the chip side and it can read the card. That way, a lot of problem could be solved. I know it would require a lot of thinking and a lot of other security related problems to be solved, but those can be handled at the machine level. This way, what would happen is it would act like a NFC tab which you have on your credit cards, and where you can just show this chip on your debit card to the ATM machine. It reads the information, and from there on, everything else happens in your presence with your instruction. So then there wouldn't be a problem in terms of the user, or probably the old user, trying to figure out which side should you put the card in. So most of you can come up with a lot of examples where these principles of psychology can be applied, and it can make solutions. Exactly. So Krishna Kishore has a point here, and that's exactly true. So use something universal which everybody accepts, or use something which is acceptable, right? And the user should not be worried about what port, whether it is C type, A type, or B type, or what port it is. The user should only be concerned with the fact that I take my charging port and I put it into my phone and discharge. I should not be worried about finding out how many ports are there, and I'm not interested because normal users would not be really interested in finding out. And yes, hit and trial is the method to do it. So you have to take up a number of prototypes and then start working with it. So as you can see within this session itself, a number of questions I'm trying to put to you and provide solutions. This is what most engineering psychologists do. They take in real life problems, they take in problems which are apparent, and try to solve it with principles of psychology and the knowledge of the field, and design systems which are intuitive and which are helpful. The course will explain you those principles which you can use for designing better machines, coding better softwares, which can help you in achieving a lot of work done and solving a lot of human related problems. So I hope these answers are understandable, and they provide some solutions to some of the questions which are in your mind. For all those other people who have joined with me, I would also ask them to put up your questions, and I try to answer those questions for you. So please ask those questions, and also provide suggestions if any. And let's start answering or understanding those problems and uh, figuring out solutions to those problems. Uh, Anurag, I'm not really sure whether we need a license, but I think these answers can be solved by looking up at the web, or there is a Engineering Psychologists Association, I think UX UI, and probably you can talk to them, and they'll tell you whether you need a license for a PhD degree. It would definitely would be needed, but other than that, if a license is needed or not, I'm not very sure about it. Probably you can find more about it. In the meanwhile, what I'll do is I'll myself look into this question and see if there is a license required, and if it is, then I'll post it on the forum from where to obtain. But from what I understand, you need basic degrees in human engineering to be an engineering psychologist. So I'm waiting for more questions. We still have around about 10 minutes to this session. So if you have questions, please put up your questions and I'll try and answer them. So 10 more minutes remaining for this session. Please put up a question. Thank you, Anurag. Thank you, all those people who are here with me and given me the opportunity to answer your questions. If there are certain questions which you could not ask, or if you want to ask further on, I would suggest that you put these questions either in the forum, or you, if it doesn't get solved in the forum, you could put up those questions to me through my email, and I'll try answering those questions to you. So I'm waiting here for another couple of minutes which are remaining for the session, but don't worry, there will be a second session for this course. I'll take up more questions and take up more nice suggestions from you and try to solve your problems with whatever available knowledge is there with me regarding this field, and hoping to satisfy all your questions and queries related to this course. So yes, Anurag, a BA is in psychology is good, but you would need definitely a degree. And any degree. I don't remember the answer right now, but what I can tell you is there would be an answer, and you'll get the answer in your assignments. The rationale, I'll first let me look at the answer. What is the answer? Because these question and answers are prepared by the teaching assistants. So let me first look at the answer, and I'll then provide the rationale for the answer. I think that should be acceptable to you, Krishna. I'll do that. Right? And thank you, Krishna. Thank you, Anurag, and all those people who are with me. So yes, Anurag, and the NPTEL exams will be MCQ based. I'd request you to do your assignments properly, and also look at the lectures and take time while viewing these lectures. And if you do most of them properly, you would have good marks, right? And a better future also in this. So then I think we are just left with 5 or 7 more minutes. If you have questions, you can put them. If there are no further questions, then I'll take this opportunity to end this session for today. You can put up the questions or more interesting questions on the forum, and somebody would answer your questions, right? And as for the rationale, I'll provide you the rationale, Krishna, in the forum itself, or why it is the way it is. In the NPTEL exam, Anurag, there are 50 questions that you have to solve. Each question carries 2 marks, which makes it 100 mark MCQ. So, if no further questions are there, I would like to close this session. Hopefully, I have answered most of the queries and questions that you people had. It was a wonderful time spending with you and trying to understand your question and answering the question. Thank you for being with me here today. Namaskar, and see you again in another session of live MOOCs live session on engineering psychology. Thank you, goodbye, and namaskar.